TBC. This is your boy Coach Shelton Harrison. And guys, I'm just going right in on Errol Spence. I ain't going in on him, but Errol Spence got a fight against Chris Van Heerden. Okay, that's the dude name. He's a step up of opponent. He's a little bit better opponent than what he used to. The guy only got 12 knockouts, but he's only got one loss. He's got, chin is okay. His chin is pretty solid. You know, chin's pretty solid. He can take a punch. And I don't think he's going to be no test for Errol Spence, though. And I just don't think he can do anything with Errol Spence. And that's just the way that is, okay? Errol Spence is going to go in here and blow this boy out. And I even say if it go past 5, 6 rounds, he lucky, okay? And he get Van Heerden, you'll get my respect if you can go past 6 rounds with Errol Spence. And that's just the way that is. I don't see this guy standing all 12 rounds. This guy going to get knocked out for the first time in his career, okay? He finna get knocked out. I'm just saying, Van Heerden. I'm not trying to put you down, man. I mean, you're a good fighter, man. You're a good fighter, and you're ranked number 7 in the IBF, and I respect that. But Errol Spence gonna knock you out, okay? And that's just the way it is, man. That's the way it is. He's gonna knock you out. You come prepared though. You give him a tough fight, and you build your name, Chris Van Heerden, okay? I want to talk about one Keith one-time Thurman though. That's what I want to talk about. You see, Keith Thurman don't want to fight this dude. Guys, I don't care what you people say. You can come at me, Keith Thurman fans, and say, well, Errol Spence ain't fought nobody. Who is Errol Spence fought? And I got to say the same thing to you. Who has Keith Thurman really fought? Who has he fought? Really? Robert Guerrero. Okay? He beat a 34-year-old Louis Collazo. That, by the way, injured him severely to the body. Okay, and I know you gonna say, but Keith made Louis Collazo quit. Okay, I know we gonna say that. Okay, and that's fine. Go ahead and say it. But this version of Louis Collazo injured you, Keith Thurman. Okay, he hit you with a good shot, and I'm telling you now, if that was Errol Spence, I think you would have been knocked out. If that had been Errol Spence would have finished you. I'm just telling you, Keith Thurman. I want y'all to look very carefully at this picture right here. This boy giving his interview. I want y'all to look at this picture. This looks like a dude, he ready to fight. He is ready to fight at any moment, okay? I've seen this look before. This dude has a very menacing stare. It's very menacing. Like, he's a nice guy. An extremely nice guy, but he's got a very menacing stare. And when he gets in the ring, he becomes possessed. He's completely possessed, and all this dude want to do is wreck your face. That's it. This guy don't want to box you, in which he's a great boxer, by the way. He don't want to box you. This dude don't want to do nothing but punish you. And I'm looking at this dude. He play nice guy, but man, as soon as he get in that ring, he is hurting people. He's knocking guys out. And the 3 dudes that he didn't knock out, that went the distance with him, that he didn't knock them out, they were severely injured. This guy, Errol Spence, not only do I think he will beat Keith Thurman, I think that he will punish Keith Thurman. I think that he'll punish him. I think Keith Thurman will take hits that he's never taken before in the sport of boxing. Okay, now, do I think Errol Spence can knock out Keith Thurman? I don't know. I still don't know yet. I just don't know. I think that question to me is 50-50. I think he could knock Keith Thurman out if he catch Keith Thurman to the body, and I think Errol Spence would knock him out. Okay? Now, I don't know though. Would it be easy? Wearing Keith Thurman down is not very easy though, okay? It's not easy. Like, you gonna have to hit Keith Thurman with several of those shots. Like, one body shot, to me, that's not gonna close the deal with Keith Thurman. You gotta wear Thurman down. Like, you literally gotta wear him down. And the only person that I could really see that could wear, I don't even think he could either. I ain't gonna even mention the name. But Keith Thurman, you gotta wear him down. But I think Errol Spence would beat him. I think Errol Spence would beat him and beat him all 12 rounds. I think so, okay? I wouldn't, no. Let me retract that. Not beat him every single round, like not win every single round. But I think if it went to a decision, I think Errol Spence would get the best of him. Either Errol Spence would win a decision or he stopped Keith Thurman. I mean, seriously. That's just the way it is, okay? I think Errol Spence got it. But Errol Spence, the thing about Errol Spence, though, you can't be a nice guy in boxing and beat up people. You just can't. You have got to have some bark. Now he's very menacing. Don't make no mistake about it. He is very menacing. He's a menacing character. But Errol Spence need to learn how to call out. Like this is Errol Spence calling somebody out. Well, Keith Thurman, I want to fight Keith Thurman, and I know I beat him. That's not a call out, Errol Spence. Are you kidding me? That call out sound like giraffe piss. I mean, dude, you got to call out Keith Thurman. You got to call his trainer out. You got to call out his mama. You got to call out Keith Thurman daddy. You got to call out Keith grandmother with the wooden hip. You got to call out Keith Thurman in ways that he ain't never been called out. You got to show up at his press conference. You got to interrupt his press conference when he talking and say, look, get in the ring, Keith Thurman. What are you afraid of, Keith Thurman? That's what you got to start saying. This little being nice crap, that's not going to work to get him in the ring. And then you got Keith Thurman. Well, who is Errol Spence's fault? Who is he fault? You see, Keith one time Thurman went in the ring and handled adversity. I handled adversity. I mean, shut up, Keith Thurman. Adversity? Who have you fought, Keith Thurman? Who have you fought? Okay, I'll give you credit for Robert Guerrero. And I'm going to give you 75% credit for Guerrero. I still think Robert Guerrero was still kind of feeling the effects of that Kamagai fight. I don't think Guerrero, I don't think he was bad. I think he took a lot of damage, man. And I don't think Guerrero wanted to let on. I think that dude took some serious damage in that Kamagai fight. And I know you people are going to say, but yeah, that was a long way away. Some of you people got to think, okay? Just because a fighter has 6 months off, 5 months off, they're not completely injury free. I know. But remember, I used to fight. I know. And sometimes 5 and 6 months, that's not enough time. Sometimes a year, not enough time. And there are fighters now that ain't fought in years, man, and they still got injuries. I mean, it's the hurt game. You don't stop being hurt. You just don't stop being hurt. And that's just how it is. But I think Robert Guerrero took an enormous amount of punishment in that fight, and I just don't think he fully recovered. Still, though, I still think Thurman was the better fighter against Robert. I mean, there's no doubt. I already picked Keith Thurman to beat Robert Guerrero. I already picked him, and I'm not saying Guerrero was a bum. By any means, no, he wasn't a bum. I just don't think it was 100% Guerrero. I just don't think so. But nonetheless, that is the only solid opponent that I give Keith Thurman credit for. Solid. Collazo, nah, man. 34-year-old Collazo, I don't think that he was nowhere near Keith Thurman level. And I actually thought Keith Thurman was going to completely dominate that fight. But as we come to find out, he didn't dominate the fight. Keith Thurman did not dominate Collazo like I thought he would do. Okay? And I'm not really a Keith Thurman fan. But I thought Thurman would dominate Collazo. Okay? And that's just it. But now here comes Errol Spence. And I'm telling you, with every single opponent that Errol Spence has faced or about to face him, I'm going to tell you what they're thinking. See, look at this dude. Errol Spence is menacing. And not only that, Keith Thurman, you're going to hit Errol Spence with your best punches. You're going to hit him with everything you got, and this dude going to come right back at you. See, the legends, people talk about this dude in sparring. They'll catch him with a good shot. He just look at him and just walk right at you again and again and again. Errol Spence fighting these heavier dudes that's catching him with these shots. He looking at them, and he walking right at them. He walking through their punches. And I'm sorry, but you get somebody like that, you hit him with everything you got, and you can't even stagger this dude. And he come right back at you, and he's taking everything you got. That kind of opponent will scare anybody. And I don't care what Keith Thurman say on the microphone. I don't care what he say, oh, I ain't afraid of him. You know what? Keith Thurman is thinking about this dude. And I know he putting together thinking, what kind of game plan do I do for somebody like this who just, Errol Spence just don't give, Errol Spence don't care. When he in that ring, Errol Spence don't give a crap about you. Errol Spence's goal, really and truly, is to do as much damage, and Errol Spence don't mind killing you. I'm serious. I think if Errol Spence took somebody's life, he wouldn't care about that. You got to see how this dude fight. I'm sorry. You got to see how he fought. He fought a dude named Noe Bolanos. I'll never forget that, man. I felt bad for Noe Bolanos, man. I thought he was trying to kill him. Because he hit Noe Bolanos with a punch that almost knocked Noe Bolanos' head clean off his body. I'm talking about darn near knocked his head off his body. And I thought the dude broke his neck, man. You know, Why you would still go into that, I just don't know. But I tell you what, though, Errol Spence is no joke. And I don't care what Keith Thurman say. Keith Thurman is concerned about Errol Spence. He can tell you that Errol Spence ain't fought nobody. He can tell you that it's about the money. I don't care what Thurman say. Keith Thurman is concerned about this dude, Errol Spence. And I would be too. I would be too if I was a fighter. I just would be. If I was a fighter in 147 pounds or 154, I would be worried about Errol Spence. This dude is the truth. And I don't care. Wait till he fight a name. Wait till he fight a real name. And y'all gonna see what I've been talking about all this time. That this dude, Errol Spence, is for real. He for real. You put him in there against anybody. He gonna make these dudes fight. I'm talking about you put Errol Spence in there against anybody in those groups, those divisions, he beats them. I'm sorry, he beats them. He beat them. And that's just the way that is. This dude is the next, okay? He the next superstar in boxing. He is the next superstar. But he got to work on his call-outs. And you would think that him working with Floyd Money Mayweather, you think that Floyd would teach him this. Floyd, the dude, he looks silly, man. He got on these big old bifocal glasses. And, it's kind of hard to take him seriously when he wearing them stupid glasses. And, trying to call somebody out. First, Errol Spence, take them glasses off, man. You look like a dumb professor with them glasses on. Take them off. And then you stare into the darn camera, man, and you say, keep one time Thurman. Fight me one time and you won't want to fight me no time. This is your boy, Coach Shelton Harrison. I'm done. Subscribe.